Today we are going to deposit research data in the repository for Open Data. We have created an account and are already logged in into the repository. We can proceed to add the first dataset. We choose the main dataverse and confirm. Now we can see a set of metadata fields. Some are already automatically filled in. Some are marked with an asterisk. These are required. Let's start describing our dataset. Some metadata fields are self-explanatory, some are less obvious at first glance. The title of the dataset should reflect its content, and not be identical to the publication or project title. Some fields allow you to select the answer. Others require written input. Author fields are pre-filled with information from the account, but can be edited. Next we select the type of identifier we want to provide. Then we type the actual identifier. Tooltips provide explanations to all the metadata fields. In selected fields we can start typing, for example the institution's name, and select from the list. The plus button allows to multiply fields, and add another piece of information. For instance, more than one author of a dataset can be added. Information about the contact person is also pre-filled. A contact person should be someone knowledgeable about the dataset, and ready to answer questions. Please notice that all the added fields can be deleted. Next field is essential. As much details as possible should be provided about the data. Others should be able to understand it, and find out what's in the attached files. Typing generic text as a description is a common mistake. As you can see, basic formatting options are available. This field can be multiplied as well. In the next field we can select a subject that best describes our dataset. Then we move on to the keywords. They are very important for improving the findability of the data. Each keyword should be provided in a separate field. To separate keywords into their own fields, use the special comma or semicolon button on the right. If you are using standard vocabulary, you can describe it, and link to it. Now we can proceed to the related publication field. We can link our data to a relevant publication, so others can easily find it. It's important to select the right relation type, and provide the identifiers. The relation type informs others how these two materials are connected. When linking to a publication, it's best to provide an address based on a persistent identifier, as links of this kind do not change. Next we provide information about funding. We start typing, and select from the list. The Related Dataset field is similar to the Related Publication field. Already existing datasets which are connected to the deposited data can be described here. Next step is to add files. You can select files, or drag and drop them into the Upload widget. File upload limit is 5 GB per file. Once the file is added, you can change its name, describe it, and set a license. You can select multiple files, and drag and drop them all together. Each file is presented individually. Now we want to set the right file licenses. As the dataset contains a lot of files, we go for a quicker option, and select all of them. Then change the license in one go. Once we are finished with adding information about our dataset, we can save it. We will be able to add more metadata later. The dataset is now saved. Let's take a look at it. The system informs us that the dataset has been created. It is a draft version, still unpublished. The digital identifier is not active, but reserved. It will become active once the dataset has been published. At this stage the dataset can be submitted for verification. But let's take a look at what else can be done. We review all our attached files. At this stage we can still edit the files, and change their order. We can add more files as well. Adding and editing metadata is possible too. The button on the top of the page can be used to enable the edit mode as well. One of the available options is embargo. With embargo you can delay sharing files in your dataset. Here we choose to keep the files unavailable until December 2024. The embargo date shows amongst other metadata. To lift the embargo you can go to the same menu again, and choose the button Lift Embargo. Another useful feature is creating a private link to your unpublished dataset. Creating a private link allows you to share your dataset even with those who don't have an account in the repository, usually reviewers. Simply copy the link, and send it to others. It will remain active and visible. At any time you can disable the link by going back to the same menu. Now the link is inactive. Whenever you are ready, you can submit your dataset for review, and wait for feedback.